releasing emotions that have to do with calendar management, scheduling, stress. Now, you might be like me. I'm kind of old school, but I'm a major color coder. Like I've got everything's got a color code. Emotion code is green, obviously, so I know what's going on there. I don't use other calendars like Helena because she travels. She's got her laptop. I don't know if she even has she's got her phone. She's got the Google Hangouts. She's got everything for her scheduling. And I'm going to release those trapped emotions from Helena today, and we'll just see what comes up. So today we are on episode 70, calendar time management, scheduling, releasing those emotion codes. So exciting news though. We'll have a drum roll for this. This is it. Helena and I both got ours. I was reading it yesterday quite a bit, and I was very interested in reading about inherited trapped emotions. So this is the new one. I don't know if you can still get the old one or not, but it's kind of interesting to compare a bit. This has got a bit more information, way more case studies in this one. And very definitely, he's actually got explanations at the back. He's got a glossary there, which Dr. Brad didn't have in the other one. So what's great about it, he's got a nice introduction from Tony Robbins, and Tony's just saying how important it is, that we're all out there doing our part, healing the world. Just checking on my phone. We're good. We're live. There we are. Excellent. All righty. Last week we did, we talked about addictions to, no, we did season allergies, but the week before, addictions to our phones, right? But there are some times when we absolutely need the phone. So that's what we're going to talk about today. I'm going to give a few law of attraction tips, but I'm actually going to be working on Helena. So Helena and I are both emotion code divas. We love the emotion code business. I also do some Reiki, and I also am a law of attraction trainer and practitioner. So I add those to whatever I'm doing. And Helena, why don't you just introduce yourself too and tell people what other modalities you use as well when you're working on people.
Sure. I'm Helena Jenikin, and I am a certified emotion code practitioner as well as a certified clinical hypnotherapist. So I use hypnotherapy with my clients when they want to release excess weight, stop smoking, because I am the stopsmokinglady.com, as well as if they want to release any fears, phobias, anxiety, or any other bad habits. I combine both the hypnotherapy and the emotion code in my sessions.
Exactly. And that's just great about the emotion code. It's such a, when I was working on Helena as her business coach, I learned the emotion code and we started doing it. And Helena saw the value of it and thought, wow, like to me, that's just the icing on the cake with anything that we're doing. It's just such a simple technique to use. It's non-evasive, and it actually works extremely well. So what we're going to do on today's show is, as I said, I'm going to be working on Helena. I'm kind of glad that nobody else stepped up because I know Helena has been struggling with this a bit. She's got 3 different offices. So sometimes she's on the island in her home office. Sometimes she might even be at her home office or a Cobble Hill office. She's got working in a office in Cloverdale. She sometimes works in Vancouver. So she got all this stuff going on. So she's given me, the first step is permission to work on her. So I'm going to be what we call her proxy. Since she's not here with me, I will be doing the muscle testing on myself for Helena because she's given me permission. So I've asked Helena what the severity is. Yeah. And she said an 8. Now I'm going to check that with the subconscious. Is an 8. So we'll just see, right? The subconscious is really going to tell us what the answers are for that. And what we will be doing is what Dr. Brad has lots of different examples in his book on using the emotion code chart, and the chart that Helena's got, because I'm kind of someone that likes to color code. what Dr. Brad has done as well is he's told us which organ. So I like to actually work with the chakras. So I've got my chart color coded, so I kind of know right away as well, because I do like working on chakras with people. So we're going to use the chart. I'm going to use that today. I'm going to find out the severity, and then what I'm going to do to release the trap emotion is I'm going to be using my magnets. So once I find out, and this will be my muscle test, my subconscious and I have an agreement. This is a yes and that's a no. So we only ask yes or no questions. Dr. Brad in his book gives you a good idea of how to go through them. So Helena, what's your, this is mine. That's a yes and that's a no. Yours a bit different?
It is, it is. So I have an agreement with my subconscious mind that when I link these two fingers together and say the word or think the word yes, or the answer is yes, my fingers lock together. They won't pull apart. And as soon as I think of the word no, boom, they just pull apart. So it's super quick. Yes and no. And Dana, I think you're doing the last step of the 7 keys to the emotion code process, which is a hydrated practitioner. Very important to be hydrated because energy flows more freely through water. So cheers.
Exactly. So Helena, we know, so basically you've got all these different calendars, right? And you've got one that you want to use for your scheduling. So tell us a little bit about that, and then I'm going to start to remove these trapped emotions.
Wonderful. So, so this is really interesting. So as Dana's doing the work, all she needs to know are my symptoms, and my symptoms are I feel frustrated that I can't complete this task. I've been working on it for months now, and I keep making progress, but I am unable to complete the task. So she's going to be working on finding the emotions that are blocking me from completing the task. So yeah, I work in a Cobble Hill office, this particular office here. I work in a Victoria-based office a couple days a month. I also work in Cloverdale, in a Cloverdale office where I see a lot of stop smoking clients, as well as I work in Langley on a contract that I have a couple times a year. I work for a short amount of time on a contract that is part of my former life. I just love working with the people. I enjoy it so much. So it's just challenging to keep track of all these different calendars because every organization has a different calendar, has a different email address, and it changes from week to week where I am. And I can give you all the stories about it, but
let's get to work here, Helena.
Yeah, let's get to work.
All righty. So I've already connected with Helena. I've already done, I like to do a prayer. Dr. Brad, because of who he is, he likes to do a connection to God. That's what he likes to do. I have a prayer that I do every day, as well as I do Reiki every day. So I always have a prayer that I'm asked to be connected for the highest good for all concerned, and for the lives I touch, and for the lives that the people I'm working on, their lives that they touch as well. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to ask the question. Now, Helena mentioned 2 emotions. She said she's frustrated and I know she's overwhelmed with this. So we could start the session by saying, I could say, are there any trapped emotions that I can release to help Helena feel less frustrated? And automatically I get a yes. Or I could just ask the question, does Helena have the trapped emotion of frustration? And I get a yes both times. So I'm just going to ask the question. I always ask the question, does it belong to her? I'm getting a yes. Can I release it? Yes. So I don't need to know any more. I already know her story. I don't need to hear her story.
I'm
again.
so tired of my story.
Symptoms that we're looking at. So then I ask the question, did I release it? Yes. And I'm also just going to ask the question, does Helena also have the trapped emotion of feeling overwhelmed? Absolutely. So I'm going to ask this, does this belong to Helena? I get a yes. And I'm then going to ask the question, may I release it now? I get another yes. I go ahead and do it. So Helena and I are experienced practitioners, so we can do this fairly quickly. And actually what I'm doing, Helena, we didn't talk about the demagnetizing. Just want to mention that, and I'm just going to release a few more emotions here.
Sure. So when Dana is finding the emotions on the emotion code chart, what happens is the emotion pops out of the physical system because it actually has a density to it, kind of like a lemon. And so this lemon energy or size of a lemon energy density is stuck in my physical body, and it got trapped there at some point in my life. It doesn't really matter when in this particular case, because my subconscious mind, my all-powerful supercomputer subconscious mind, is just wanting to release it, let it go. And so when that happens, it pops out of the physical system into our energetic system. And she's using then a magnet over what we call the governing meridian. Starts underneath the nose and goes all the way to the top of the tailbone. So she'll be wiping away the emotion out of the energetic system over the governing meridian 3 times if it belongs to me, and 10 times if I inherited it from someone else, my mother, my father, or even grandparents or further back. So when she releases that and does that, the emotion just kind of goes away and it's processed.
Yeah, and it doesn't come back from that situation, right? It may come up another time from another situation. So I just released I just released 2 other emotions, vulnerability and anger. So Helena, what I'm going to do is maybe you can just hold up the chart and I'll just show people and explain to them what I'm doing here. So I'm going to ask the questions, are there any more trapped emotions that I can release that will allow Helena to stop procrastinating and move forward and get all her calendars sorted out into one? Yes. Okay. Are they in column A? Yes, they are. Are they even? They're even. So either they're going to be in 2, 4, or 6. 2, 4, or 6. I'm getting 4. So I'm going to ask the question, I'm asking the question, is it anger? Is it bitterness? Is it guilt? So I'm getting a yes on guilt, but I'll just go through the whole column. Is it hatred? No. Is it resentment? No. So the trapped emotion of guilt comes up. I'm going to ask the question, does this belong to Helena? And I got a no. It doesn't belong to her. So I'm going to ask the question, was this inherited from her mother's side, her father? No, your mother's side. So put your mother. Dr. Brad has explained a lot more in this inherited trapped emotions in his new book. I was reading that yesterday as well. So you might want to just have a read of that. I learned something new, which I'm going to share with you in a minute. So mother, I'm going to ask, is it further down, is it mother's mother? No, is it just her mother? Yep, inherited from your mother some guilt. All right. I'm going to ask the question, may I release it now? And I'm getting a yes. And so I'm going to do 10 swipes. And what I read, and I don't know if it was in the other book or I just missed it, I didn't have time to check, but it says that if Helena had children, what I could do right now is I could actually release it, because we can work with children as long as we have the parents' permission. Children that are still living at home. I think I've done 10. I'm not sure there. Yeah. But yeah, so we can release it. So that trapped emotion is released from her mother. It's released from Helena. And it's now, if she had any children, it would be released from them. Because remember, all energy works through time, space, dimensions, past, present, and future. So this is why we're able to release emotions from conception right up into present day time. So again, if you had children, and I'm working on 2 women this afternoon that both have children. So I may do individual sessions, but if it comes up, they'll be delighted to know that I'm also releasing it from that happening, that trapped emotion getting trapped in their children as well. All right, so I'm going to say, are there any more that I can release at this time? Yes. Are they A? Nope, they're B this time. So are they even? Nope, they're odd. They're 1, they're 3, they're 5, 5, and 4. So I have my numbers. So 4 is unsupported. So I'm going to ask the question, does this trapped emotion belong to me? I'm getting a yes. Can I release it? Yes. So Helena, we'll get rid of that.
Excellent. So in the book, Dr. Brad has added in the glossary of the explanation of the emotions. So unsupported, the definition according to Dr. Brad, is a feeling of lack of support, help, or encouragement, feeling not provided for by another, and not defended when help is needed, feeling that the burden is too heavy to bear alone. One can also feel unsupported by one's own body in the case of illness, weakness, or lack of emotional or mental strength. Interesting.
Yeah, so that's good. He didn't have that in the last book, unless you were a practitioner. Um, you had to look those things up. So I've just released unsupported. So I'm just going to see what else is here. Now remember that what I like to say with my sessions, are there any other trapped emotions that I can release at this time? I like to say at this time because the processing takes different forms for different people depending on the situation as well. So sometimes it takes longer. Sometimes Dr. Brad says you can work on a person the next day and the next day and the next day. I know that when I'm working on people, I generally do a week apart, just to let them process, and also because of my scheduling, right? So that's what we have to look at as well. But if you are doing it yourself, you definitely can, it's what feels right. If you start asking questions and you're getting this kind of thing, it's a yes, it's a no, it's a yes, it's a no. You're not, don't do any more processing, because your subconscious is telling you we're a little bit mixed up right now. So let's just process what we have. So Helena, I'm just going to see if there's any more that we can release. I'll do that. And if you want to say hello to anybody, you can do that.
Sure, we've got Leslie Marshall is watching. Hello, Leslie. And I know that there's a few more people watching. We can see, but give us a comment and we'll be able to say hello to you.
All right. And so that emotion that just came up right now is pride. So Helena, why don't you look that one up? Because for me, pride, this is not the good pride of feeling accomplished. You feel really positive about something. It's maybe too proud to ask for help. If I was prompted, I could ask more questions, but I haven't been prompted. It's just said I can just release it. It belongs to Helena, so I'm going to go ahead and release that trapped emotion of pride.
Okay, this is a long explanation, but it says an overly high regard for oneself due to some real or imagined merit or superiority, vanity, or excessive desire to be noticed, praised, or approved, feeling better than others, being non-teachable. Oh, that's interesting. So many people are trying to help me get my calendars. I'm like, no, I've got it. I got it.
I can do it myself. I'm okay. I don't need your help. Thanks anyway. That's perfect.
Having to be right, expecting more credit than is earned, treating others with disdain or contempt, being in a state of resistance to others. Isn't that interesting?
Yeah, and that's a really good one because Helena, full disclosure, you and I have talked about this calendar thing for a while. And also when you made changes in your website and you added different things and you're updating, and all of a sudden you can't just update in one place, right? It's got to be all across. So certainly you feel overwhelmed. So that's all the emotions that are coming up right now. I trust that this will get you moving forward. And as I said, at this time. So we'll see what goes on there. And something I say to clients I work with, if you need a quick check-in, just message me or something, or if something comes up, I'm happy to respond to that. But again, we just need to know the symptoms. We don't need to know the whole stories of things that are going on. And I'm going to actually, I forgot to check the severity when I started, but I'll go from your 8 then. 8, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0, 0. So we have 0 resistance here. So I will look forward to. I know it is a big job, right? So that's why you've got to have a plan. You got to put in front of you. I think even doing a graphic chart with, okay, this is what I have to move. I like to do that wheel with the spokes. Like, what is it that has to go where? And then I'm a big person with check boxes and lists and things like that. And do whatever feels right for you, right, Helena? I mean, that's the goal here.
I think the only one, if any viewers have any suggestion, my biggest challenge is to have the appointments go into an online calendar that I can access really easily. And that's my last stumbling block. Everything else, well, I've got in hand. It just takes the time to.
But Acuity is the one that you want to go to?
I do. Yeah. I do.
All right. So you know that. I mean, you're partway there, right? Consciously you've done that. So hopefully we've gotten rid of enough emotions there. All right. That is the Divas show for today. So next week, episode 71, we're going to be looking for someone with chronic pain. I found the emotion code works very well for chronic pain. I've been doing a little bit of work and going to do some more work actually on my husband. He just had some surgery. So I'm going to do that emotion code as well as some Reiki for that. So if you're in chronic pain, please let us know. Either post it or PM Helena or myself individually, and we will do a session for you next week. So Helena, how can people reach you?
People can reach me through my website, which is flourishhypnosis.com, and you can book an appointment with me directly from my website.
Excellent. All right. And you can find me at danasmithers.com /emotion-code. And yeah, I love working with people. I love working on relationships. And I also love working with animals. So if you have any that are, you know, challenging, misbehaving, upset, anxiety, barking a lot, then I'd love to work on them as well. So that's it for now from the Divas. We look forward to, we'll go in and make some comments from your comments, and please share. We're still building our base, and we know that we're helping people all over the world, and that's our intention. So bye for now.